What's up, guys? Some people were asking about budget setups of Herald of Thunder. I think it's possible. If you like the build, then you can make it work on a lower budget, but I really don't recommend it. It's quite bad at farming currency with low investment. So you can see I made some upgrades to my character. It's now almost at the point where I will stop upgrading, but yeah, this is high budget. I can go over it later. Um, but I will like give you a step by step which items I think you should go for first, and at which point I think you can switch to Herald of Thunder, and when you can make it a little bit more comfortable. I will show you one more clip here. Uh, this build is very much not an all-rounder, right? It really relies on headhunter buffs to get a lot of defense, especially if you max it. And yeah, so bossing is no go with this character, only if you have headhunter buffs. I'm waiting a little bit right here because I just wanted to make a little bit of a showcase how nice the clear is if you just walk through everything. Um, but yeah, budget setups um, is I think under 10 div I think is really hard. So yeah, I will go over the items now, but as you will see, even with headhunter buffs, I wanted to show you that I've kept Chaos Rest, but I died anyway. So yeah, this build is definitely not a build that you can do bosses with. So I've made a little list here. I think you need Annihilating Light. So this is 6 linked, not 6 linked, and with maybe 61 instead of 60, then you're looking at like 20C, right? 30C, 40C. And you need to link it yourself then if you have that. Um, then Impulsor, pretty cheap. You can get it for a few C. Storm Secrets, also cheap. Cluster Jewels, you need Lone Messenger. It's cheap. Um, the only expensive part here is the large jewels. You want Life Leech, and you want, well, you don't really need Resist if you really want to cut budget. You don't need a Prismatic Heart, but you do need Dorianis, you need Life Leech, and you need ES Leech if you can get it. You can skip ES Leech if you're really on budget. Then you're just looking at Life Leech, and you can go cheap if you want, but it's going to be really awkward because your pathing is going to be better, worse if you only take 2 node large clusters. The small ones are pretty cheap. The medium ones are pretty cheap. You want one, I will show you later. You want one small endurance charge, and then you want here I'll show you now. One thing you need is it's over here. You need this self-fulfilling prophecy on mediums one time, and then others just empowered on Envoy and Dark Messenger, all of them. Get as many as you can get with how many levels you have and what your tree looks like. And then Overshock is good. Dorian says you need it. And Prismatic Heart is whenever you can get it, it's good, but these combos are going to be pretty expensive probably. This is like 3 div, I think. This is like 1 div. This is just Overshock. This is ES Leech and Overshock. Widespread Destruction. This is also what you can get. I wouldn't recommend going for a third large cluster if I'm on a budget. I would just get a medium cluster here because you need one more jewel slot. You can just get a jewel slot here if you want, but then you are kind of in a position of points. You can get a one medium into a jewel here. Yes, and then let's look at the list. Timeless jewel 3. You can just get a random one with Doriani. You want corrupted soul. I don't know how cheap you can get it. I put mine for 1 divine, but you can probably get it for cheaper. Inspired learns if you can't get Hunter, I think you do need this. They're pretty cheap. I think they're like 10C. I think Aria's End is really important for clear. You're gonna reduce your deaths a lot if there are less mobs, and without Arias, this build feels very bad, I think. But you can just get a random one, and then it's 3 div. That's pretty expensive, but I think it's almost mandatory actually. And Replica Dragon's Fang is pretty cheap. It's a few C. and then power is useful for scaling, and then grand spectrum three times shouldn't be too expensive. Let's look at it without. Yeah, it's 50C. Never mind. If you get 3 of these, you're at 1 diff. But then your S is going to look a lot better. You can get better items. So I think in order to be able to swap, you need at least this. I think you need this. And with if you actually want to like level and like do breaches or something, then you need a raised end. And this is all for damage. Get it whenever you got your other stuff. And Grand Spectrum is for capping resist if you can get it on your rares. Because you will have more rares, and you will have a rare helmet, and you will have a rare belt if you don't get Headhunter, and a rare amulet without this. But I think if you have enough rares, then get this. Yeah. And then that's how you would do it on a budget. These items, just copy my tree. Um, like copy my tree, put these jewels in. As I said, get a medium one here, and here, maybe don't get the Thread of Hope. If you can't afford it, you can spec a little bit differently. You have less points, more points than me if you don't get the large down in there, and you would put the Inspired Learning here probably. If you have more currency, you can put a second one here probably. I think they stack. I didn't look it up. But yeah, this is the budget list. You need these things. Okay. Yeah, I think I estimated I like didn't really do the math, but 10 diff I think you can do it, but it's gonna feel bad. So yeah, otherwise if you're gonna go higher budget, there are helps really good, better clusters. I really like move speed. You can get replica each other, but I don't think it's that impactful. Oh, I think I forgot about this. You need a Merc. You need the Merc. You need Doriani's prototype, and you need negative lightning rest. I think any negative is fine. If you have negative 50 is fine, but negative 100 is better. I have 140, it's fine. Purgatory so cheap. But this setup for cheap, you can get it for a diff probably. So yeah. So one of the profit feels pretty good. This is now, yeah, we can talk about like end game, but honestly, if you care about end game upgrades, you probably understand everything that's going on in the pub. So yeah, I don't really care about corrupting my impulsor for +1. I might do it later, but I'm pretty burned out at this point. So this is my setup. I think it's pretty tight. I tattooed a lot of lightning res. If you're on a budget, of course, you don't do this. You just get more rares with more res. But yeah, my pre is pretty. I think my tree is fine, but honestly, if you take a different setup, it's probably fine as well. Just take cluster jewels and then see what you can get. You need leech a lot on this build. The masteries are also important. Damage recoup mana is good, and instant leech is good. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Hmm. The build feels great, but it's by no means insane, and it's really niche only for breaches and legion good. So anyway, fun guys.